Yeah, I like that.
Amazing.
That was
Okay,
good.
good, good, good.
My hero is Jack White. He always has been.
Who the fuck was in that video?
I'm not gonna name names.
You know what? I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna make this about me for 2 seconds.
A lot of shit's gone down on the East Coast.
I love learning, but they said it in such a baby voice.
We just want to make music that we love, and that is like the true success.
I'm such an overthinker naturally.
We don't hate ours, thank God.
I couldn't decide if that would be a green or red flag, so we'll let the listeners decide, okay?
People like to shit on the modern world. I like I like what we got.
Welcome to Unshut, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Amazing. How's your day going so far?
Good. How's yours?
Pretty good. You sound great. You look great. Good lighting. I love it.
Okay, good.
Amazing. We're ready to start. We're ready to jump right into it. Are you?
Yeah, so I'm a little early. I was just getting everything set up.
No, you're good. I'm like totally checking my lighting, my angles too, real quick, just to see.
Yeah, totally.
Perfect. So I know it's been a little bit crazy with scheduling. So first of all, thank you so much for making the time.
Yeah, totally.
Of course, you guys are getting ready to kick off a tour in April with one of my favorites, by the way. How did this connection happen?
We're actually not sure. We don't know if it was the artist that decided to reach out or their management because we just got an email one day that was like, "Hey, are you guys available in April and May?" And we were like, "Yes." And so it would kind of just start off really low key like that, and then we just kept talking. I haven't had a chance to actually meet the headliner yet in person, but when I do, I'll be like, "Hey, were you the one that put our name in the hat, or was it someone else?" Because I'm curious as well.
Hell yeah. Well, that was actually going to be my next question. If you guys had even had the opportunity to meet in person yet, that's crazy.
No, I don't actually know where Your Neighbors is like based out of. We're based out of Texas, and I haven't had the chance to see them live yet. So when we play with them on our first show, will be the first time I've seen them as well.
Well, I've heard nothing but good reviews about their shows and I love their music. I'm a big fan. I've had him on the show, but I've never met him in person. And so I was kind of like geeking out when I saw that you guys were going to be a part of this tour with him because his shows get such good reviews. And then upon doing some digging, I saw some of your guys' show and I was like, holy shit. So I'm going to go ahead and put my money on the fact that he definitely had something to do with this because it's such a good fucking match, dude. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, no, I was a fan before we had gotten the offer, and so when I got it, I was just like, yes, I will make room in the schedule. Doesn't matter what we have going on, we'll be there.
So
So
exciting.
yeah,
Well, while we're on it, real quick, for listeners, whether they're new listeners discovering you for the first time, where can they find these dates and where can they purchase tickets?
on our site, is probably the best place if you're a fan of us or Your Neighbor's site as well. A lot of the venues are independent. Some of our Live Nation, some are Ticketmaster, or the venue you're in your local location is great too.
Perfect. Before we talk a little bit more about the band, why Vision Arcade? I want to pinpoint the name real quick, specifically for new listeners. I usually don't talk about like where did the name come from, but I really want to push for you guys because when I discovered you guys, I was instantly fucking hooked. So I need to share this as much as possible with everyone. So why the
Oh,
name?
thanks.
Of course.
I wish I had a good story, honestly. It's kind of a lame moment where arguably I think when you're in a band starting out, the hardest part about being in a band is coming up with a good name and hopefully one you don't hate forever. We don't hate ours, thank God. But it was really like me and our drummer Connor, I was like, "Hey, give me a noun." And he goes Vision. And then I was like Arcade. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And
Dude.
that's kind of it kind of just stuck. And we get a lot of people being like, "Hey, I love the name." And I'm like, thanks. I didn't really think about it that long.
Well, I fucking love stories like this because I'm such an overthinker naturally. And whenever I think of names, whenever I see artists' stage names, I really do like to see what my first impression is. And what I loved about your guys' name is that vision, which we're going to talk about something a little bit different, a little bit towards the end with a song specifically, that in my opinion is it's what makes you guys so timeless. But I feel like your vision has been so fucking clear from the beginning, but also arcade, come on, nostalgia. Like, I just think that it's playing on both sides, being ahead of the game, but also hitting some nostalgic. So I love stories like this because when you don't overthink it, is when magic is truly fucking created. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And I have no problem being like to saying the story I just told you. Like a lot of, we've been like, "Hey, should we make up a story just to like make it exciting?" And we're like, "No, let's just tell the actual like honest truth."
Absolutely. Well, it tells such a good story. So I'm glad you guys aren't fabricating some random shit. But you all
Yeah.
met in high school. Is that correct?
Evan and Connor, drummer and bass, they've known each other since elementary school, but we kind of all four started meeting each other one on one in high school. And then our senior year, we had it was called Music and Media. It's basically if you play an instrument, you can go in that class and rehearse. And every Friday, you have to play something in front of everybody. You know, Connor's a drummer. When you're just a drummer by alone, it's probably pretty boring, or at least you want to play with some other people. So yeah, we kind of just started playing in that class, and then we haven't stopped since then.
Dude, was mixing business with pleasure in a way difficult for you guys?
It's tough because I do like try to have my like true artistry self be like, we just want to make music that we love, and that is like the true success, which is like something I do believe in, but not having to work is also a plus. You
Absolutely.
know.
How early on did you guys start to learn about juggling these dynamics, friendship with responsibility? And now, as you guys continue to hit some growth, again, money gets involved, right?
Yeah, no, I'd say one thing would be we've all been working like our entire lives, like, and since we started the band, we've all been working on our own. In between then, and I think that really helped us learn like how special this whole thing is. And there are like times when there is decisions, like business decisions to be made, but most of the time it's like this is rock and roll. Let's keep it fun. When there is like a responsible like business decision to be made, we usually are just the four of us in a circle talking about it and being honest. Because if you're not, you're gonna have problems like down the line. So
Dude, absolutely. Can you recall the first time that you guys jumped from obviously just meeting in high school and that moment, that significant moment for you guys where you guys truly decided, no, we're taking this seriously. And like you said, this is just rock and roll. We're going to just commit to putting out good music. We just want to do music. When did that shift happen? Because obviously lots of growing up happening here from high school, even just shortly after, right?
yeah, I'd say it's two things. When you start a band, you start by playing covers, and for us, like you aren't a band until you have your own music and you play a show. So we started with playing a show first. It was horrible, but we played our first show, and then we decided we needed to write some music just to see like what we sound like. And really early on, we released a song called War Machine, and it like did randomly like in the algorithm like kind of well, like early on. Like I remember we had like zero listeners on anything, and we put that song out, and then like a month later we had like 500, and that was it. I was like, we're doing this forever now. Like we had a couple hundred people listen to us, and I was like, I could do this forever. And since then we've just been writing and releasing music as much as we can.
Dude, hell yeah. I mean, I think the impression I am getting is that your guys' foundation is truly just built on doing what feels right, like just enjoying the process, right? Not overthinking it. Even just your story with the name alone, I think it tells such a powerful story because I do think that that is part of that fundamental concrete that you're putting in as a band, right? You go and you flop, you don't really overthink it, but you just know this is what you're meant to be doing and you guys are fucking rocking with it. And I think that tells such a good story. I love it.
Yeah, no, thanks. I think what you just said is like a big part of it, like being okay. I don't know if flopping is the correct word for what I'm talking about, but when you don't have like a song that you love and then it releases and no one listens to it, you're like, it's for me. Like I am putting it out for everyone, but if I don't like it first, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, exactly. And I love that. I love when artists are putting it out for them first because I've talked about this on the show before. At the end of the day, specifically with writing, it's about getting shit out of your system, whether it's your beliefs, your perception, your experiences, your trauma, whatever. It's about you first. And I love that you guys are staying true to that. If I'm not mistaken, Max, were you originally from California? Are you from the West Coast?
Yeah, I am. I'm from the Bay Area.
Very cool. You've described Vision Arcade as Texas indie rock. Did you embrace the Texan roots right away, or did it take time to adjust moving to Texas?
Well, I think I got really lucky in that we're from Austin, which is definitely they call it the little blue dot for a reason. And so we moved. We moved twice actually. The first time I think I was 8, maybe 9. Whatever second grade is, that's how old I was. And then we was only here for like a year, and then we went back for like family stuff, and we came back again. And the second time was like this time we stayed. The first time felt a lot more Texan. Like the first time we were here, like my family embraced the Texas side, and I wasn't really into it. Like I was like, when you're in California, you're like, why would you ever move? And but yeah, the second time we came back, it felt a little more Austin felt a little more California the second time around. And I didn't have much of a hard time adjusting. By the time we got to the band, like I've like fully like acclimated, you would say, to like the Texas thing, but still maintaining. Like I will always say I'm from California, and I still think like I grew up in California. That's like where I identify with like myself. But Evan and Connor are like from Tech. Like Evan was born here. Connor's like lived here since he was one. So they have like the Texas root a lot more than me, and it definitely like makes its way into the music
Well, I
for
love
sure.
that you just said that it makes its way to the music because that was my favorite part about you guys, just listening to your music. There is so much diversity that's just blending well. It's actually coming through really well. So I was fascinated to hear, even just with your fascination alone about one day wanting to play in the East Coast, which we're going to talk about that here in a second. But I am so fascinated to hear about all these mixings that are blending very well. And I wanted to ask you, each member brings their unique perspective and musical preferences to the table. What would you say is yours?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think as I've gotten older, I think my taste has been a lot more broad. Like in high school, when we started the band, I was really, really into like heavy stuff, more like the indie rock side than metal per se. Like I like my hero is Jack White. He always has been. And we didn't start the band because of this, but our junior year, Royal Blood was in town, the two-piece heavy band from the UK. They played Emos, which is like one of my favorite venues in Austin, and it was just like blew our mind. Like me, Rory, and Connor. I hadn't met Evan yet, but me, Rory, and Connor were there, and we were just like, we just saw stars. It was like the coolest thing we'd ever seen. Because I had never seen a band. Like I grew up loving Jack White, but I never got to see the White Stripes like in their prime because I got to see them like right after they broke up. I had never seen a two-piece band on stage, and they sound like 10 people, which was just mind-blowing to me. And I think we probably started the band like 6 months after that.
Dude, hell yeah. Well, I love that story too because it's that musical awakening that gives you that's the feeling I want to give others too. I fucking love it.
No, totally. I agreed. Like, there's always times in your field where you're like downtrodden or like, why am I doing this or whatever. But when I remember thinking that story or like how that made me feel, I'm like, if someone else feels that way because of me, let's keep going.
Do you carry that feeling with you whenever you guys do a show and not just necessarily this tour in general, but just any show? Like, do you perceive it as almost like a full circle moment?
Yes, but it's a different moment. I tell a story on stage sometimes, but really early on when we started, probably like maybe before we even put War Machine out, we'd probably put out one song at the time, and we played Mohawk in Austin, which is like one of the OGs of our favorite venues. We played inside on like a Thursday after this band, and our friend Christian, he had driven down from Dallas, so 4 hours each way. With his girlfriend, and they were the only people we played to for like an hour straight. Even the front of house guy was like, he left the room. Like, and we just, every time we finished a song, just silence. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, this is the lowest it would ever be. And we actually later, like a couple years later, we had our first ever sold out show at Mohawk inside. And that was like the full circle. I just remember staying in the exact same spot and being like, oh, there's people here this time,
Dude,
you
I
know?
fucking love that story. And I think that it also just speaks so much volume on how resilience truly cannot be taught. You have to hit some of your lowest points in order for you to be able to appreciate even just the journey alone. I got goosebumps hearing it, dude. That is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, that's the one that I remember the most, like most often for sure.
So sick. I read somewhere Max really wants to play in New York and really wants to play in the East Coast slash New England. What is it about the East Coast that you're so drawn to?
I'm from the West Coast and then lived in Texas. I've been to the East Coast a couple times. My some family in Connecticut, which is really cool, but I've only been to Connecticut a couple times, and then New York maybe twice. But it's such a different energy than like what I'm used to. Just the hustle bustle, and then just like the music over there is so different with like the style of hip hop, and then rock, like all the bands from New York, like Interpol and everything. It's just like such a different energy. And our producer, Matt, who's been with us our entire career, is from Connecticut as well. And he's always been like telling us like, when you guys tour one day, talking about the East Coast, giving us recs and everything. And finally, when I was able to tell him we got this, it was just like a big moment where he was like, all right, now that you're actually going, I can give you the rec. I got a friend you can stay with, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yes. So there's a lot of reasons. Also, seeing family, Connecticut's going to be cool. There's just so much of the East Coast I haven't been to. Like, I've been to like Boston, New York, but that's pretty much it.
You've been to the
So,
main ones though. That's good, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, it's so refreshing to also hear you say this because aside from this constant like East Coast, West Coast rivalry, I do think that anyone that has ever lived on either or, there's this like underlying understanding on just how different but yet how similar the creative freedom are in those coasts. And so I'm originally from the West Coast, Coast, but I fucking love the East Coast. And I think that it's just because of that, because specifically creatively, there is something quirky about both sides that you just get when you've been around them, if that makes any sense.
No, for sure. And it's also like old America, like it's just where America started. So like when I'm there, everything's wood, like all the houses are made of wood. It's just an energy. I don't know. It's just old. A lot of shit's gone down on the East Coast.
Dude, 100%. When it comes to music, real quick, what would be the max pick for a Vision Arcade song that best describes you guys as a band?
Ooh, that's a good question. I say probably Lone Star. That song is like it's one of our favorite songs, and it's definitely like at our shows that we headline. It's definitely the one that I see the most people singing to, which I think is really cool. But also just the message of like if you read the lyrics, you can like clearly tell it's about like becoming an alcoholic when you're young, and it's got that Texas honor with the name and everything. So I think probably that one.
Me just what you mean when you say that you need me. Show me there's somebody that will show me some compassion. I said no, no, I don't need you now. No, no, I feel it running through my heart. Oh, my heart.
Dude, such a good song. I loved that song in your guys' catalog. And obviously, just a little tiny spoiler alert, will that one make the cut on this tour?
Ooh, I don't want to say yes or no. I think it will make some dates. It's a very hard song for Rory to sing because it's very belty and belty like the whole time.
Okay,
I think on
noted.
some special dates, it'll make the cut on like some important shows for us. Like obviously Brooklyn's a big one. We're playing the Echo in LA, which is a dream come true for me. So probably those will be there.
Totally noted. We won't hold you to it. No fucking pressure, but just have to figure out a way to plug in another song in there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
Hell yeah. Before I start this next segment, in one of your videos on YouTube, were you the one that said, I love learning? Do you know what video I'm talking about?
I don't off the top of my head. You're gonna have to enlighten me.
Dude, there was this video you guys had posted on YouTube, and while I'm doing research, coming up with segments and what to do on the show, I came across this video and someone flips the camera over to their face and they say, I love learning, but they said it in such a baby voice. Dude, I fucking replayed that shit back like 5 times laughing, but I couldn't figure out who the fuck was in that video. So I had to ask.
Oh, okay, that's our homie Dylan. Dylan is
Okay.
one of our high school friends, and I mean, he's still one of our dogs today. But yeah, he was around for some of the recording of our singles vinyl, like the recording of it. He was there, so yeah, he was doing some BTS, and I think he likes to do that to us. I'll be in the middle of a
Perfect.
take, and he'll make me laugh and ruin the take, but it was worth it.
Well, thank you for clearing that up for me because I was so emotionally invested in that clip. I just kept hitting the 10 seconds back, laughing 10 seconds back, but I couldn't tell because he zoomed in so close to his face. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure out, is that Max or not? And I'm like, oh, there's facial hair. But someone else in other videos and other photos, they have facial hair too. So I couldn't tell.
Over all the baloney.
I love Loney.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, that was Dylan. He's goofy.
Shout out to Goofy Dylan. I fucking love it. In honor of Hey Honey, these are going to be some speed questions, sweet and unshut. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, here we go. Honey or gravy on your biscuits?
I would go gravy for sure.
Same, 100%. Who's the biggest sweetheart in the band?
Probably Connor for sure.
Hell yeah. Who's the biggest devil disguised as a sweetheart in the band?
Probably no. You know what? Last question was probably Evan actually, and this one's Connor.
Beautiful, noted. Hot
Yeah.
honey or regular honey?
Recency bias says hot honey.
Beautiful, same. I like a little heat in my food, so I agree. If Vision Arcade bottled honey, what would the jar be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd probably get the star from the Lone Star cover and make like a jagged star thing, and then you open the top and it comes out.
Dude, this is why we do things like this in Unshut because that
Yeah.
creativeness right there, you never know if you guys ever strike a deal and start bottling that shit. You're welcome. There's your idea.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, if music doesn't
Hell
work
yeah.
out, I got a backup plan.
No, no, no. The music is going to work out, but this is just something down the line. You know what I mean? For
Yeah,
retirement, I
totally.
guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Who in the band is more likely to bend over backwards for someone after a first date?
After a first date, that's tough. I'd probably say Evan. I think. He's a sweetheart, so he'll definitely be the one that comes back to make amends or like, yeah, commit for someone for sure.
Perfect. And I couldn't decide if that would be a green or red flag, so we'll let the listeners decide, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Who in the band is least likely to survive being stranded in the open sea?
Ooh, probably me. People like to shit on the modern world. I like what we got.
Hell yes. Okay,
You know.
same. 100%. Would you consider this episode as just sex, or is there something going on here?
This one is probably something going on here. We'll probably do this again.
Dude, hell yes. Please tell me you
Yeah.
understood, obviously, the references to the song.
Yeah, I like that.
Amazing.
That was
Okay,
good.
good, good, good. Amazing.
Hey, honey, why don't you love from the start? Hey, honey, why don't you come bring my heart? I've been bending over backwards to try and explore your mind. Something inside my body tells me that you just need time. So, hey, honey, well, let me know when we start.
Thanks for doing that with me. I love how serious you guys take connecting with listeners. How early on did you guys understand the concept of building community around your music?
I'd say day one. Like I'm always like trying to remember how I had met some artists, whether they were like big or small, and remember how I felt when I was talking to them. And I'm not gonna name names, but there's another artist that Rory. They have since blown up and gotten big. They're from Austin, and they just blew Rory off over like a DM or something, and it really rubbed him the wrong way. And since then, I've always remembered that and remembered how it made me think about them. And even though they've blown up and gone to great lengths with great music too, I'm still just like, ugh, you know. And so I never want someone to think have that with us. I never want someone to like hear our songs and be like, oh, I had a bad experience with them.
Dude, it fucking sucks. I hate when I see people, and you know what? I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna make this about me for 2 seconds. I
Yeah, go for it.
fucking hate when I see bands that have stood me up, left me hanging on fucking Zoom. They treated me like shit. They were just so unprofessional, and I see them catching little wins here and there. But you know what? This is what I constantly tell myself. This is so good to have because it's such a good reminder of what not to be. And let me tell you something, the longevity I am creating with the groundwork I'm fucking putting in because I'm still able to show up the next week after going through that shit is the reason why I'll still be here 10 years. So they may be catching wins, but you know what? They're good reminders of what not to ever be. And I loved this about you guys. I love that you guys were so forward with creating connections with the people that listen to you. Fucking amazing. So hats off to you guys for sure.
Yeah, no, like we were fans first, and I'll always like keep that close to heart because I don't ever want to be, yeah, like you just mentioned, like one of those people. Also, like no one has to listen to us. Like no one has to like come to our show. No one has to do anything. There's 10,000 other bands putting out music probably this very hour, so they don't have to listen. And when they do, I really appreciate it.
I think that's such a good fucking message, Max, because you said it so perfectly. They don't have to. And when they do, what better way to honor them back by fucking acknowledging them? I think it's just the humanity side of us when someone is supporting your art in any way, whether it's a small platform, big platform, whether it's just a listener, a first time listener, a returning listener, they're giving you the time and effort. And obviously, you guys know what it's like to put out a song. It's not done in one day, you know? So when someone does and you acknowledge them, it goes a long ways and it shows with you guys. So on behalf of all your listeners that have ever came across you, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah, dude. I love the story about thrifting for affordable merch that you guys like did some stuff in the past. Whose idea was this?
That was mine. So my grandmother, she passed away, and one of the things that she left was her embroidery machine from like the early 90s and late 80s. And I was like, I asked my family, I was like, can I have it? And they're like, yeah. And I did. And I embroidered like just for fun, like some of my own clothes. And I was like, okay, I could see us using this if we really wanted to, but I need to get like a real machine, like that can work with the modern, like a real computer and everything. We saved up with the band money and I got like a real embroidery machine. And I was at Goodwill with my mom and I was like, there's so many blank shirts here. Like, why buy new clothes? There's always like use recycled clothing. There's that like whole movement of like not wanting to buy new clothes. And so I was like, I can like support that and also like give the clothes a new life rather than just like sitting on a Goodwill like rack, you know. So I would go with my mom on Tuesdays because Tuesdays is senior day and
Hell yeah.
she gets the senior discount. And so I would just get as many thick blank clothes as I could, and yeah, I just embroidered everything. And it wasn't easy, but I'm really glad we did it. And we might do it again in the future if it makes sense. But yeah.
Well, it's absolutely genius, and I loved reading about this, but I did not know about the connection with your grandma and the machine. I think that is the coolest thing ever. And so I want to honor her real quick because I didn't know about this story and I absolutely love it. So earlier today, you gave us Mac's pick of a song. What song do you think your grandma would pick to be her favorite song from your guys' catalog?
That's a really good question. Probably Way to the Feeling. That song is definitely the one that I don't want to say older, but more mature people who listen to our music have always come up to me and like, that's the song I really connect with. Like thank you. And I'm like, of course. And other than Lone Star, that's definitely like my favorite song that we've released. And I think my grandma would probably think the same.
So sweet. Thank you so much for having an answer about that. What do you think it is about that song that resonates with an older listener, if that makes sense?
I think that song is really just about like just emotion and how emotion can feel sometimes. And when you're like my age or even younger, you might not have any of that stuff figured out, or at least not to the point that, someone older does. And so I think when you've matured emotionally, you can listen to that song with like a different perspective and probably why they like it so much.
And I said, hey, darling, what you want me to say? Darling, making me feel this way. Dusting off of my brain, and it's sinking in now. That's the way to the feeling. That's the way to the feeling. And it's sinking in now.
Such a good fucking answer for sure. Any new merch coming out for this upcoming tour?
I know we're going to have a tour exclusive shirt that you can only get if you come to a show so that, there's some exclusivity when you come to see us. There's definitely going to be some new stickers, and I think there might also be a hoodie. We're working on the third item right now. We're only going to have three, so we're kind of still figuring out that third item.
Dude, amazing. When are you guys planning on starting to tease some of those designs?
Probably a couple weeks leading up to the tour so that people who are buying tickets or already have them know what to expect. We'll definitely have our singles vinyl as well, which anyone can go and get right now. But yeah, probably the weeks leading up to the tour. So probably April.
Exciting. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. And since we're on the topic on new items, new music, March, new song coming out, what can you tell us about this new song?
This song, it's a track called Been Better. It's probably our fastest song we've put out in terms of BPMs. And definitely a new direction, but still feels like us, I'd say. Like it's a little on the heavier side. We've spent the last like year and a half like really just labbing and trying to make the best songs we can. So in all aspects, like lyric, melody, mixing, everything. And so I'm really excited for people to hear this song.
Dude, I can't wait to listen to it. Will there be any visuals along with this release?
Yeah, we're gonna be releasing a music video as well as a studio live performance of the song.
Dude, super cool. Will that studio performance only be available on YouTube, or will that also be clipped as audio on streaming services?
We'll probably start with it on YouTube. We might have some more plans to do more songs in the studio, in the live studio setup. So maybe if there's more than one, we can put them together. But we're going to start with it on YouTube and our site to begin with.
Dude, hell yeah. I feel so excited, dude. I feel like I'm getting the fucking tea on everything coming up, and I am so excited for you guys. I want to travel back a little bit in regards to music. You guys released We All Bleed Red in 2020. Has it crossed your mind how relevant this song still is in 2026?
Yeah, for sure. And that song and War Machine as well. Like War Machine's more on like the actual like global scale, I'd say. But yeah, We All Bleed Red with everything happening with ICE and everything. And especially like the Super Bowl just happened and everything. And watching Bad Bunny's halftime show was really cool with all the flags and everything at the end. So definitely feels like a good time for hopefully people listen to that song.
Yeah. So come, open up your mind, love. Love is all alike. Lose that undefined. Come, open up your eyes. We all bleed red.
Dude, this is where I got that whole vision part of your name being so ahead of its time because here we are 6 years later since releasing that song. And here's the thing, I think political climate's always going to be in a heated position now, 10 years, 20 years from now. But I think when you're able to convey a message of just equality in general in a song and do it so well, so creatively, it creates such a timeless tune. And I think any band would want to have a song or two in their catalog that can be relevant for the next 30, 40 years. This is definitely one of them for you guys because I feel like it was so bold to do 6 years ago, but for it to be so relevant in everything going on today, I was like, damn, this is how I know they're going to be around for a long time. So I got to get them on the show ASAP.
Yeah, thanks. That song we did, it was during COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement, which was like part of the inspo for the song. And then Johnny Shelby, who's the featured artist on that track, he was one of the first artists that we ever met, like as a band. We did this like showcase thing, like super early on. We played for like nobody, but he was one of the other, it was his first show ever, was that showcase. And I always remembered him. I just remember watching him and being like, that was sweet. And so when it was time to, like, we were thinking about having a feature, we wanted to have a person of color as the feature. He was like the first person we thought of. And I'm really glad we did because I think he brought that song like to the next level.
Well, that's what collaboration should be all about, right? It's about connecting with people that you see something in. It doesn't matter what it is. And you said it so perfectly. You knew what the message of the song wanted to be. And so those collaborations are so important. And I loved stories like that. Do you guys have any plans on future collaborations? What do you guys have in mind in regards to that?
We don't have any future plans at the moment because we're working on our debut record at the moment, and we kind of felt like nothing wrong with features, but like our debut wanted to be us and just us saying what we want to say and kind of prove that we can do what we want to do on our own, so to speak. So not at the moment, but if there's an opportunity to collab with someone, I'm more than happy to talk to them.
So exciting. And I loved your answer, by the way, because it also just proves the point of that groundwork that you guys have been doing since the very beginning. I mean, from shows, merch, I mean, you guys are truly DIY. And I think that a lot of people get lost in what the possibilities could be in artistry and they forget to be in touch of who they are. And I love that you guys are staying true to like, listen, we're going to do this one, do it this way with what we want to say. I can't wait to hear all about it, dude. I'm so excited for you guys.
Thanks, dude.
Of
Yeah.
course.
And I, like, again, I want to make it clear, nothing wrong with features. But sometimes when I see an album with too many features, I'm like, is this you? Is this like a collab project? Like, why not just name it a band, like a band? You're not a band, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I think they should name it something else.
Dude, I fucking love that you just said that because if I'm being a Judge Judy myself, you're absolutely right. Sometimes whenever I see someone put out a project with too many collaborations, my first question is always, did you not think you could do that on your own? You know what I mean? Like, did you
Oh, totally.
really need all of these collaborations in order to give it the push that it needs? And obviously, not pointing the finger at anyone, not saying anything bad. Everyone has their free choice of doing it however they want. But it does give me that impression as a music lover that I'm like, man, you could have hacked this completely on your own. And there's no better way to bet on yourself than to truly bet on yourself. So I love that you said that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally.
Dude, thank you so much for giving me your time. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you. Lastly, please tell everyone where they can find your music. I know we talked about where they can find the tickets and the dates for this tour coming out in April, but socials, streaming platforms, plug it in.
Vision Arcade on everything. You can find our music anywhere music is played. If you're in Austin, you can find our vinyl at a couple select record shops. But yeah, if you look up our name, you'll be able to find us.
What record shops could they find them in?
Waterloo Records, their new location. They just moved up the street a little bit, and we're in there. We're in End of an Ear, which is a really dope independent record store. Those are the two big ones that we have our stuff in.
Dude, so exciting. Thank you so much again for your time, and cannot wait for this to come out in March. Super pumped.
Dude, thank you for having me.
Dude, of course. We'll definitely be in touch, all right?
Thanks, man.
Take care. You too. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.